Welcome back to Battle Arena TV. And in this fifth episode, we're going to do what all great series do. We're going to look back at the last four episodes and show you just the good bits. Well, the best bits, because we've all been furloughed, and it's been a year without fighting, so we're kind of running a little bit low on content, aren't we, Chris?
Definitely, Steve. But it's been a good series. It's been quite fun to catch up on some of these great fights from the history of Battle Arena.
Yeah, especially like I said, the really good bits. And what does everybody come for? They come for the knockouts, the knockdowns, the submissions. And I think we've got one on the cards, don't we?
We do indeed. So we've got Corey Belden's fight against Patrick Nasewicz, and what an amazing fight this was. And we showed this as like one of the first fights in episode 1 because it was just so exciting. And the reason it was so exciting was the recovery of Corey Belden to come back from an amazing head kick from Patrick Nasewicz and to rally, to come back and to get the eventual win at the end of the fight was just a phenomenal moment in MMA and Battle Arena history. And it really set the stage for what Corey Belden's become now as this UK top prospect who's going pro, who's already fighting on the big shows. I know he's got huge fights lined up this year. And this is one of the moments of absolute pure history from MMA Battle Arena. And let's check it out now.
All right, folks, the first fight we're going to be bringing to you tonight is Corey Belden versus Patrick Nasewicz. This is a lightweight bout. They have all the speed and power that you could possibly pack into somebody of 155 pounds, 70 kilograms. Chris, what do you know about our man Corey Belden?
Well, he was coming into this title fight as the world champion. Patrick was coming in as the European champion. It was the title versus title, the unification bout to see who was the best. And they were both... It's like quite often with these fights, like us as analysts and commentators, we have a sense of this person has probably got a slight advantage or a slight favorite, but I think everyone going into this fight had no idea who was going to win. And it felt a little bit kind of... Patrick Nasewicz was not a crowd favorite. There was a controversial fight before that he had with a controversial finish. And Corey Belden is one of those fighters, he plays to the crowd, he'd cheer, he'd get the attention, he roars at the end. So it felt like good guy versus bad guy. It felt like we were going into a kind of almost a Disney movie, a cage fighting Disney movie with the good guy versus the bad guy, the hero versus the villain. And it was also a bit of a contrast of styles. I mean, Corey... He's a great striker, but we've seen a lot of wrestling and takedowns from him. And Patrick, we've seen a lot more clean striking and using his range and his distance so much. And he's a little bit bigger and stronger as well. What did you expect from this fight, Steve?
Well, it's like you said, both of these gentlemen were title holders in the lightweight division. They were coming to unify the titles. They can do it everywhere. They're great in stand-up. They're great on the ground. And it was really who was going to get there fastest with the mostest. So what we're going to see tonight is who was ready to go that extra mile, who was ready to come back on their shield or with that belt. And that's what we're going to see tonight.
So before we see the fight, I actually managed to catch up with Corey and just had a little chat with him about his prep going into the fight. And we're going to go and see that now.
We're going to watch your fight very shortly. It was you versus Patrick Nasewicz, and you were the world champion. He was the European champion. What was your preparation like for this fight? Can you talk us through how you got ready for such a big challenge, being the main event as well?
This was... like I don't want to say like I've ever slacked off or cut corners or anything like that in previous camps, but there's like a lot of time I would I'd have that cake, for example, when I know I'm not supposed to, but like I'll do that. And this fight, I was like 100%, like everything was perfect. I didn't eat any bad food until like after the fight. So the recovery in terms of throughout the whole camp was on point. I had no injuries. Even the weight cut itself went so well, and the refuel went even better. So like I was walking into that fight, I was on top of the world. This guy was not going to beat me. This guy was not going to do anything at all. And that quickly changed. Like
we don't want to give away what happened yet. What were you talking about that?
But, yeah.
What were you expecting from Patrick? What was you like? Obviously, you had your game plan going in, but what were you expecting back the other way from Patrick? Because he's a very accomplished martial artist.
Yeah, I knew he was going to be difficult, but I didn't realize how big he was going to be. That was like the biggest, because I don't think you really realize until like you meet someone and then you're like, oh damn, this guy's huge. It was the weigh-ins. I remember looking up, and I was just like, oh yeah. I was like, you're big. I remember saying to him, I was like, you're big.
He's very tall.
Yeah, he's very tall. I was like, you're bigger than I thought. And he just smiled at me. I was like, oh, damn. But
And
yeah, I knew
got-
he was going to be very, very tough.
And I got one more question for you, Corey, before we watch the fight. And it's kind of quite a broad question, but it's always very interesting to me. And it's, why do you fight? What draws you to be a mixed martial arts fighter and jump in the cage?
Like I could probably break that down a little bit, because
Yeah.
jumping into the cage and being a mixed martial artist, and then jumping into the cage, for example, I feel like two different things.
Okay.
In the sense of martial arts, it's been with me throughout my whole life since I was a young boy, and I feel like it will be with me to continue. You know, I mean, it's a lifestyle. The cage bit, that's where it gets it's different, man. Like that's when it becomes a bit more. Although it's discipline through and through, it's the cage thing is when it gets quite more, I say, serious, and you're putting like your health on the line, as well as try not to get knocked out in front of like your mom, which is you know.
It's very true. So we're now going to watch your amazing fight. And talking about putting your health on the line, I think everyone needs to really take note of round number 1 coming up in this fight. It's an amazing performance from yourself. So we're going to go watch that now.
This is a fight after all. We can be friends after. Very seldom to see Corey Belden backed up there. Oh, a head kick lands and Corey Belden's down! He's down and Patrick's swarming and big punches landing. Corey doing well to recover right now. He's clinching up. Patrick's got to be careful not to punch himself out or get trapped in an armbar. But there was a few that landed there. These are big, big punches that are landing. That kick. I don't know if we're going to see 5 rounds of it, the way these guys are fighting. Backing him up. Corey Belden's trying to get something started.
Big fellas for 70 kilos.
Just long and rangy, and Patrick just seems to be able to keep Corey at the end of those punches. Stumps to the face there.
Just a rangy guy.
All right, Belden again on the legs. He's got the knees together. Looks like he's going to be able to get it.
Well, that's a takedown.
Corey wants to touch gloves. I don't think Patrick wants any of it.
I feel like Patrick's quite
Oh, big left hook.
Oh! God, he hits like a truck, does Corey Belden.
Backs him up into the cage. Got the underhooks from Patrick. He's got him off the legs. Big knees. I'd like to see some knees from either fighter right now. Either into the thighs or up into the guts. Is this the way to get it? Connect his hands. Pull him away. He's got to stay on his feet, though. That was the moment there.
Looks like using the strikes
crossface
underneath
here.
Kind of look for a crossface or a Kimura trap. Oh, Kimura trap, see? He does like that.
He's very good at keeping him off the legs with that Kimura trap.
The Kimura trap means that even if you get taken down, you've got hold of the control of one arm, and it can mean you can reverse and end up on top.
Or finish it.
Or yank it down to the floor. Or get reversed again. Oh, come on top.
Oh, Corey Belden's on top now. This is the opportunity.
Oh, could it be over?
Wow, he's landing punches at will here. Can Patrick Nekovich get out?
Patrick,
This would be the comeback to see. I think it's there. Yes, for Corey Belden.
Wow.
There's the victory.
Wow. What
After
a
being put down in the first.
stunning comeback. It's come through adversity.
Wow.
Chris, what were some of the main takeaways from that fight?
Well, I said before this fight it was like a Disney movie. I got it all wrong. That was a Rocky movie, right? Completely. He got hit with that head kick, and then I think maybe sometimes the referees can give a little bit more if it's a title fight. And this was champion versus champion, and I think they just gave him that little bit more time. And if it was an undercard fight, they might have actually stopped it at that point. They gave Corey just that little bit of more time, and he came back, rallied, and then got the win. I mean, it is literally like a movie script. Or if you wrote that in a movie script, you would be accused of kind of being a bit cheesy and making it awkward. And that to come back from such adversity shows his maturity as a fighter and what kind of heart he can put into this performance. But I think the really important bit was the turning points at the end and getting that huge takedown. And I know, Steve, you're a big fan of wrestling. Can you talk about why he went for that huge takedown and carried him from one side of the cage to the other?
Well, this was exactly, it was the turning point. It was the fact that Nasewitz wasn't able to get the finish, and sometimes you can have too much success too fast. And Corey, he knew that he had to come from behind. He knew that he had to make a big statement, and you see that there when he picks him up, runs him across, back to his own corner, showing very, very good cage control and understanding, and he slams him down. And then the finish comes actually off of an underhook Kimura there. He gets on top, drives his hip forwards, and just starts pounding out Nasewitz, who by then has really been, he's just emptied his tank, hasn't he? He's had a lot of success early on. He can't put Corey Belden away. He's thinking, what do I have to do to win this fight? And in the end, he didn't have the answer. It was Corey Belden's night.
And what do you think, Steve? Do you think it's more, is it heart or cardio or training at that point, or is it just stubbornness or testicular fortitude?
I think we'd have to go with testicular fortitude. No, it's what you train. What you train is how you're going to perform, and it's obvious that Corey was ready for everything. He was ready to get put on his back, and he was ready to stand back up and control Patrick Nasewitz.
Welcome back to Battle Arena TV. Now, unfortunately, there was a bit of a mix-up with the tape, and we've been allowed to do this last little bit from home. So, as everyone else that's been furloughed, we're going to take a look at some things that happened a long time ago. Chris, what are we going to look at?
I believe the producers asked if they could feature one of my fights, which was very kind of them. They've chosen the specific one where I take an absolute pasting for most of the fight. My technique in this fight was to let the guy hit me until he got tired and then catch a fluky submission and win the light heavyweight Battle Arena belt.
The old Homer Simpson technique. Take a lot of shots to the head and push them over when they become exhausted.
Exactly right, Steve. It was my strategy, and even after the fight, my wife has got this photo where she used the selfie camera to show me how bruised my face was, and I've pulled a very shocked face looking at the amount of bruises, and she took the perfect photo, and I actually have that on my phone still of the pasting I took. But I won, and that's the main thing, not the brain damage. It's all about the gold belts.
Exactly. Well, brain damage and bouts of crippling depression aside, Chris, we're going to take a look at that fight right now.
Guy for light heavyweight. Likes to stand and bang, also likes his wrestling as well. But Chris is a BJJ purple belt, so very slick on the floor.
So he's not going to be too worried about getting taken down here then?
No, not too worried whatsoever. Muscle needs to be careful.
Watch those hips already snaking.
Yeah, he's got a good takedown. He's got a nice overhook on the left-hand side, as does Chris. So, and they're going straight for the sweep there. Muscle using his athletic ability there, using his strength. Very well done, very well controlled, but you saw straight away Chris very slick off his back. So Musson landing some big shots now. He's not bothered about the floor neither. He's a very good catch sort of wrestler style.
Benson's obviously going to have to be beware of the power of Musson there.
Yeah, definitely.
Guy. He's got a lot of support here with him as well.
Yeah, massive crowd. He's got that inside butterfly for that sweep as well.
Benson going for that sweep. Musson just clings on there.
Yeah, the fence is just in his way. I think if he nails it from sort of like the opposite direction, he'll catch it. Yeah, definitely. Just stay really heavy on the hips. JP does. Chris is doing a great job off his back though. Nullifying the ground and pound of JP at the minute.
Benson just trying to tie up the arms and not take any damage.
Yeah, JP's still working well. He's got that inside butterfly again, just to one leg. Tried to go for that sweep. Now switching it to the other side, maybe trying to pop his hips out. JP's still working for the ground and pound. He's trying to go for an open claw and then maybe into an armbar. He's got it, it looks nice and straight. JP did really well to step over.
That looked very dangerous for a moment there.
Yeah, for a second there it looked really tight. JP looks like he's going for a double leg. Needs to be careful of the neck.
Well,
JP flopped back, unfortunately, straight onto his back. Now he's in mount.
Big full man, he's gone for
the armbar again.
He could have it this time.
For the armbar, it looks tight. JP's trying to cut up the head, trying to relieve a bit of pressure. Chris pops that head out, he could straighten that arm out. It's hard to see where the
Hold
position is
pressure
from
off that
this angle.
arm. Very
And I think he's gone for the triangle. I think he switched it to a triangle. He's got a
switched to a
triangle now.
triangle,
JP needs to be
that is
careful. Needs to
tight.
get his head up. It looks really tight. And that's a tap. That's it. Chris has pulled it off.
Fantastic. Impressive win there.
Lovely switch. Hit the armbar.
Wow, Chris, you're the hostess with the mostest, aren't you? You got all the skills to pay the bills. You just chained together so many little attacks there. You had him completely baffled. And what is the ticket to that? Was that kung fu? What was that? What did you pull out there?
How dare you? That's like spitting in my face, calling me a kung fu martial artist. I think we can all universally agree that of all the martial arts that's been proved the least effective. No, that was Brazilian jiu-jitsu, which is funnily enough from Brazil, but it's a martial art that's focused mainly on the groundwork, right? So submission holds on the floor. So what I did to end that fight, luckily, because I was always getting my up to that point, was I went for a guillotine. We ended up on the floor. I then transitioned into an armbar, and previously in the fight, I'd actually had already got him in a really close armbar that had kind of popped his arm a little bit, and he'd popped his elbow back in and then punched me with the same arm. So I knew it was a slightly ineffective submission against this particular opponent. So I used and I knew there was a short time left in the round as well. So I used the armbar to transition into a choke. And one of the reasons I like to do that is chokes are very effective, but armbars can be effective as well. And one of my favorite armbars, or arm locks from the history of Battle Arena, was Magdalena Gage, and she actually snapped someone's arm with her leg from a judo throw. And we're going to actually check that out right now.
Oh, almost a reversal there from Molly. She's doing really well. Magdalena's got some serious top pressure, and that transition to mount was very slick, sliding the knee over.
It seems to be a very strong mount position right now for Magdalena.
Not really looking for any ground and pound. I think she's trying to set up a submission though. Oh, great reversal there from Molly. She swept, got on top, but I think she might have her arm isolated. She's got to be very careful. And Magdalena looking for some rubber guard briefly there, and she's gone for it again. So she's trying to use her foot to maybe isolate for an omoplata or control Molly's posture. Or a Goga platter maybe, that'd be very exciting.
We don't see many of those in MMA, do you now, Chris?
No Nick Diaz specials. But Molly's doing a really good job. I think she's recognized the threat, and because she's got her left arm tied up with that overhook, it's making it very difficult for her to escape, and it's meaning that Magdalena, although she's on the bottom, she can set up all these attacks. So what Molly needs to do is get that left arm out, which she's done now, but Magdalena's let go of the arm because she's trying to transition to a guillotine off of it, wrapping that head. She's got to reach through with her other hand and try and clasp her hands together so she can get this choke. But it's going to be hard in these big gloves. Oh, and a hip bump sweep. This is really impressive transitions from Magdalena. She's one submission to another submission to a sweep. She's constantly attacking, and I think something's going to come through in a minute.
Some good base shown by Molly Lindsay, though.
Yeah, Molly, I think, is just trying to survive. She's just driving in, maybe hoping for a stand-up, but Magdalena's so active. Now, this is better from Molly. She's pushed Magdalena's head against the cage. This means that her posture's kind of affected. It makes it hard to go for the submissions. But maybe Magdalena will see a change of tact as she gets her feet on the hips and makes some space.
Again, I'd like to see Magdalena using the cage now to get up and get this fight back standing.
Well, sometimes it's styles, isn't it? I've always been the one that my coach is going, use the cage to stand up, and I've been like, no, I'm quite happy on the floor. But for Magdalena, she's in such an awkward position with her neck, you know, in that angle against the cage. It's making it very difficult for her to move her hips to get these submissions. She's walking her feet up the cage now, trying to get an armbar. But it's going to be interesting to see how the judges score this round, because for me, Magdalena's just constant pressure and aggression from the bottom, and now she might have an armbar anyway.
Very hard to see from our position, but she looks like she has an armbar.
Yeah, it's just, is that around her head? 10 seconds left in the round. Will she be able to straighten the arm out in the last 10 seconds? This is so exciting. Oh, that is deep. Oh, that is deep.
Very
oh,
deep.
that is deep, but the mat might be saved her. Oh.
Saved by the bell.
Now, how much damage has been done to her arm? I think she's fine. I think because the armbar went belly down and the mat was in the way, it may have just saved her arm, and I think 2 more seconds and that arm would have gone snap down, and Magdalena was just submission, just aggressive. And this is our second fight of the night on Battle Arena 40, and this is such a treat. I mean, I know I'm a jiu-jitsu guy, but this is such fun to watch. Now, Molly's got to stay on her feet. I think she realizes she doesn't have the skills to match Magdalena on the ground, and she's got to avoid that headlock throw, stay on her feet and throw some bombs.
Nice right hand there from Molly, and a nice knee.
She goes straight for that hip toss again. Oh, great. Molly moved the hips out the way to stop the throw beautifully. She's doing it again.
It's a nice throw there from Magdalena.
Another huge judo throw. I think Magdalena must have done some judo.
Seems to be controlling that arm again.
Magdalena's got such dominant jiu-jitsu. She's got such top pressure. She's a very constant pressure game, constant aggression with these submission attempts and control.
And this position is very tiring for Molly on the bottom. It tends to dishearten fighters that are stuck in bottom and side control.
And you can see this is the side control of someone that's done a lot of grappling, a lot of judo, a lot of jiu-jitsu, and they got that pressure. And you know, we've been there on the mats and we've felt that pressure from such an experienced fighters, and it's a horrible sensation. And Molly's just trying to survive. The problem is, she's not going to get a stand-up when Magdalena's being so active and aggressive.
It's another slick transition to mount there from Magdalena.
Very smooth. I think Magdalena's trying to isolate that arm, maybe for a Kimura, but Molly's all over it, trying to reach out with her other arm, protect it.
See how Magdalena is controlling Molly's head there with her elbow, turning her face the other way. It therefore makes it easier for her to control the arm. She's now abandoned that.
Oh, Molly's trying to wrap up that foot. That's a smart thing to do, but Magdalena just recognized it straight away and shot her hips a little bit higher and just made that escape impossible. I think Molly just can't deal with the pressure of Magdalena. That top pressure. Referee Paul Nichols giving a close eye, but maybe
nice
Molly's
reversal from Molly.
Got a little sweep. But like we saw in the first round, Magdalena's got such an aggressive guard. It's not necessarily a much better position unless maybe Molly can get a little bit of ground and pound going.
And she's going for the armbar again. And Molly gets to stand up.
I think Molly's got a big
Nice right hand.
Could be a comeback if Molly can land a few more of those big rights, and Magdalena recognizes the danger straight away and clinches up for that hip throw.
She needs to watch for that judo throw again.
Oh,
She
head
goes
into
for it, she
the
gets
mat.
it. The referee checking that Molly is okay as she went head first into the mat.
Yeah, and we do have rules in MMA that you shouldn't be throwing an opposition fighter onto their head. I don't think that's an illegal throw because it wasn't the intention, but I think they're grabbing onto the cage, possibly an injured fighter.
I think Molly's arm has been hurt in the transition there. It looks out of place.
I think her arm has been damaged in the throw. I think she's landed funny on her elbow, and it's a little bit of damage done to her elbow.
The medic's now coming in to check on Molly.
I think Molly's definitely out of this fight. We can see from our position that I think her elbow has been either dislocated or broken. She's done really well though.
Earlier on, we were talking about exercising and how difficult it has been during the lockdown to really enjoy your workout. There's only so much running, so many burpees, so much anything that you can do in this kind of a climate, and you've got to spice it up a bit. But there are really a few different areas that you should be addressing in your exercise and your strength and conditioning regimes. What are those, Chris?
Well, you want to stay fit. It's really important that you stay fit, especially if anyone watching this trains martial arts. If you suddenly jump back into training, you're going to be so keen, you're going to get hurt straight away because you're not conditioned to it. So the fitter you can train, if you can do some strength work, you can do some cardio and some anaerobic, so you're really pushing, not just slow jogs, because that's not what we do in these combat sports, right? We need to like push into that threshold where we're getting a little bit of lactic acid buildup. And the way I've been doing this is by doing YouTube dance videos. So I join in with my kids, we dance along, I get really, really tired, and that's my workout.
That's an interesting workout. I've definitely been doing some of my own at home, and we're going to have a few videos in a moment. But what about you at home? Send in some of your videos on our Instagram or on our Twitter. Get on our social media. Give us some ideas, because maybe we'll be trying them out in later shows. But we're going to get to our own videos in a few moments. Chris, I'll show you yours, or I'll show you mine if you show me yours.
I never thought you'd say that, Steve.
Let's go to my video first.
Just feels like it's been a long time. Feels like I've got some fire inside of me, and I've got to get it out. I could only think of one person, one good friend that could help me get to my goals. I need you. I need you really bad. Will you come back and train me? All right, let's go. Now, nutrition is the most important part of any athlete's arsenal, making sure to balance the old school with the new school methods. And one of the easiest ways to get protein and fats is from eggs. Some people like to cook theirs. I like to cut out the middleman. Bottoms up.
What is that?
All right, next one, right? All right, that's it. That's all you need.
I'm just gonna
You good?
Fireman's coming!
All right. The old training methods. Hi, I'm Steve Brinkman from Battle Arena fame. What I'm going to show you today is just a really quick breakdown of something that you can do all the time. I know family life can get really busy. To get a good workout in is to do a burpee. Now, there's many different variations, but the easiest one is just to jump up, put your hands down, shoot your legs back, bring them back up and do a jump. You do 15 of those and you'll be breathing hard. If you want to add something that's a little bit more challenging to it, you can do a press up and a tuck jump at the top. So you again shoot your legs back, do yourself a press up or any sort of variation that you want to do, pop back up and tuck your knees to your elbows. Do 10 of those and I guarantee you, you'll have had a great workout. I try to start my day with them every single day when I'm not throwing up eggs and things like that. Back to you guys.
Wow, Steve, you call that a workout? That's apparently your workout is my warm-up, right? You couldn't even find big children to lift in the air. You just stuck with the little ones. In the gym, you get the big weight. Why did you take it so easy, buddy? If you want a real workout, check out my video.
So, obviously that was a little bit of fun, but on a more serious note, this is my actual training regime during lockdown. So the goal with lockdown was to be able to get a good workout in and keep the strength and flexibility that I need to be able to do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and teach, and maybe fight again one day, probably not going to happen, even though it was going through lockdown. So my first move was to eat too much, but I have reduced that now. The second was, I was like, how can I get an effective workout with minimal equipment? So in my house, I have like a couple of pieces of basic equipment. So I've got a weight plate here, I've got 20k kettlebell, and I have a punch bag and my chin-up bar / belt holder, right? So I wanted to see if I can get a good workout with these. So there's a classic wrestler's exercise that we can do with a weight plate, and I actually learned this from Matt Hughes while doing a wrestling camp in America, and it's great for upper body strength. It's called a halo. So with a halo, I'm going to hold the weight plate on the side, make sure the guns are good, right? I'm going to come out, I'm going to go around my head, and then out to the front. Around my head, out to the front. So I get the full range of motion, and this is very similar to in wrestling, picking someone up and throwing them. You would do this kind of movement and extend your back. So halo's super useful with that. The other one I use with the weight plate, it's a little bit of a full body one. So I get a nice low squat to work my legs, come up and then do a press to work my upper body. I get a nice full body workout with that. My kettlebell. So when I was fighting, chin kettlebells helped me get ready for my fights. So nice kettlebell swing, it's good posterior chain exercise. So drive all my hips, get the kettlebell up to waist height,
keeping my lower back pulled in, making sure I stay safe. The last one, obviously, that's kind of strength gaining. I need cardio. So I use this little app. I'm going to show the camera now, if it's in focus, we'll see. Called the Fight Timer app. And it's very simple. You can set it for Thai boxing, mixed martial arts, boxing, and it will shout combinations at you, like jab, cross, hook, right? And it will even throw in some exercises.
4, 3, 1.
That's a great workout. So you got strength, you got cardio, and that's been my lockdown workout. So back to the studio.
I don't even know what you call those moves, Chris. They certainly aren't light, and they certainly aren't fit. But, you know, you got to do what you got to do in a lockdown. Now, no disrespect or anything, but I've heard that white guys can't dance.
The problem is I'm too tall, right? And this is my excuse for a lot of things in my life. So I'm 6'5". If you're 6'5", even if you're good at dancing, you just look like a slightly drunk giraffe, right? Like all awkward with your movements.
You get an A for effort, though, that's for sure. It's given me a laugh, and I'm sure the people at home.
I really appreciate that, Steve. But in a more serious note, it is important that we all stay in shape during these COVID times. It helps you fight COVID better, but also we all want to come back and be able to train soon. And any sports physiologist will tell you that if you jump into a big training volume and you're not used to it, you will get injured straight away. Think about professional athletes. They train 6 days a week, twice a day, every day. They don't get hurt very often, right? Because they're used to it. All of us have just been playing and doing just dance with the kids. We're going to jump back into training and get hurt, so we do need to condition ourselves a little bit.
That's for sure. And honestly, one of the best things that you can do at home is just make sure that you sort out your diet, you're eating healthy, you're getting your 5 a day, you're getting your sleep, and every once in a while, lift up a child or two.
You know who else gets their 5 a day?
Who?
The Mayhem Girls.
Today we are in Scotland in a wee town called Bathgate. It may be on your radar if you're a Lewis Capaldi or an avid fan of chloroform, being the hometown of Sir James Young Simpson and of course Lewis Capaldi.
This week the Mayhem Babes are at Higher Level MMA for Battle Arena TV. Speaking to legendary coach, fighter and trainer here, James Doolan.
My name is James Doolan. I'm the head coach at Higher Level Martial Arts in Bathgate. Higher Level's been running since 2012. Before that we were going under the name Lanark MMA, which is one of the Dinky Ninja Fight Team gyms. Since about 2001 I think the fight team started. It was an amalgamation of 4 gyms. There was my gym, Grip House in Glasgow with Paul McVeigh, a gym in Dumbarton, and we had at one point we had a gym in Ayr as well, a guy Willie McCracken coaching. But so it was about 2001 the 4 kind of us got together, kind of started sharing skill sets and stuff like that, and then just bringing our students together. Our product here is first and foremost just martial arts. From Thai boxing, we've got guys here who are world champions. We've coached at every level, from Scottish up to world class. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, we've got a couple BJJ black belts here, a bunch of brown belts and senior grades. Competition wise again, British and European champions in those arts. And then MMA, which is kind of like our specialty, but we have guys who specialise in the arts individually as well. But we are predominantly an MMA gym. Our striking is tailored towards MMA. Our grappling can be tailored towards MMA also. We have about 100, maybe about 110 students here. And about 30 to 35 fighters.
When you're looking to take an amateur to pro, what sort of qualities do you look for in a fighter?
First and foremost, just work ethic. So guys that are going to put the time in, and then just guys who are dedicated. Like they're ticking all the boxes in terms of their preparation, their willingness to learn. They have to be coachable to an extent. They have to fit in with the team, and just have a clear idea of what they want and why they want it.
I'm Luke the Apocalypse Shanks. I train out of Higher Level in Scotland, but I'm originally from Northampton in England. Started in traditional martial arts, I started in kickboxing. MMA started being big. I went to the Senai in 2008 when I was 12 and seen Michael Bisping, and just started training MMA as soon as I could really. Yeah, I started from 16, had my first fight when I was 18, and yeah, just went from there really.
It's not actually that hard as long as they put the work in. They only ever get problems when they've got an unrealistic expectation of what they're trying to do. As soon as they get an idea of what they're trying to do and they're willing to put the work in, it's not actually that hard a process.
James has nurtured talent and taken them to new levels. His gym here in Bathgate is arguably one of the best here in Scotland. Home of 2 UFC champions, featherweight Danny Henry and lightweight Stevie Ray.
Welcome back. Do you know what I love, Steve, about mixed martial arts? It's the art, right? Your canvas is the canvas of the mat, the canvas of the boxing ring, and you get to express yourself on there. You get to show your style. Are you aggressive? Are you a counterfighter? I think me and you have very different personalities. When we were fighters, right, I'm a runaway, hide, let the other guy get tired, hope for a fluky win at the end kind of fighter. And I'd say you're a bit more aggressive.
Definitely. I always like to get in there, mostly because I was absolutely terrified. But some of the things that people start to worry about is that, does a fighter have to look like a superhero? Do they have to be this absolute mountain of a man or woman? Or can they be a little different?
I would say that me and you are proof that you don't have to be too perfect.
Certainly not. And the thing is, like you said, you get to express yourself, and you get to step in whatever condition is best for you. And sometimes we have the typical brawler, somebody that might look like they just got off of a bar stool, against somebody that's chiseled out of granite, somebody that looks like Michelangelo sculpted them.
Are you talking about Eskil versus Conrad, this famous fight?
I am talking about Eskil versus Conrad Jacek. It is an absolutely famous fight. It has millions of views, and we're going to be taking a look at that tonight. Shall we go to that fight?
When it's a Norwegian 100-kilo man,
I think it's just the building blocks of it, Chris, right? Because if you're a 100-kilo Briton, you are probably going to be made of fish.
Look at him, he's 100 kilos with abs.
Oh my God. It's all that boiled fish they eat in Norway or something like that. I think that's what they eat. It's certainly nothing else.
He's eating all of it, definitely.
He must have eaten a small Norwegian village, actually.
Now,
oh dear.
Why don't I look like that? The genetic lottery has screwed me over.
Well, you just don't have enough Viking in you, Chris.
I keep thinking about fighting heavyweight, and there's moments like this where I think, nah.
Well, clearer heads prevail, that's for sure, Chris. That brings us on to our sponsor of this excellent fight here, Battle Arena 46, Viking Warrior Nutrition.
That is a very apt sponsor when we have
a Viking Warrior like Magnuson in the ring. Jeez.
Good tattoos as well. I like the compass.
And we have seen this boy before.
Yeah, he's a monster. From Berserkers Kyrgyzstan.
Berserker. Conrad Jacek, ready to defend all of, well, I guess he's just defending the UK tonight, Berserker's gym in particular, but he is meeting up against a formidable challenge here in Eskil Magnuson from Frontline. Anybody with 100 kilos of abs, as you so aptly said, Chris, and the power of Jesus in his right arm is going to be dangerous.
And see, that's the opposite. This is what we get with heavyweights, but you can't judge a book by its cover. It sounds like we have been doing it, but you can't, because we've seen Roy Nelson and other fighters where maybe they don't have the killer physique, but they've got power in those hands and they can knock you out with one punch. And this isn't a bodybuilding competition, luckily for Conrad, but this isn't a bodybuilding competition. This is a fight.
Exactly, and everyone has a puncher's chance, and both of these men have 100 kilos at their base, and they can transfer that to the end of their punches and kicks.
Tights. Wow.
If you've got it, flaunt it, and I can definitely tell that Conrad's got it.
He's got it. It's because it's on display.
And Alan Jackson checking it out.
I'll say one thing for Frontline, they don't bring many fans with them. A little bit of support here for Conrad. Those powerful kabooms. Really enjoy wearing spats.
Conrad's got a bit of a taping there on his right ankle, so maybe that's significant in his kicking strategy. But we've always talked about Frontline Academy and Magnuson coming from there as being a very, very experienced gym with UFC fighters and multiple.
Oh, big overhand right.
And that's where the danger is. Oh, he turns him with that one, does Conrad. And he lands a jab on the way out. He's looking for that right hand so often right now.
Oh, Conrad with the turnaround.
Yeah, nice little pancake move there. He may have wobbled Magnuson there with that early right hand.
Great footwork from Conrad. Conrad's got
right
some
hand
nice
up the
power.
middle.
Big knockout.
Big right hand.
Oh, that's all right. Magnuson's just snoozing on the mat.
Never judge a book by his cover.
Huge knockout. Absolutely huge knockout from Conrad.
And Magnuson's eyes are still starry. We need to call in the EMTs here. That's for sure. He needs to calm down. We're getting him to a neutral corner.
I think we can all agree that was unexpected. But this is the way things go sometimes when you're a bit overconfident. Chris, do you think it was possible that a person with a name like Magnuson might be a bit overconfident going up against somebody that looks like Konrad Zizek?
It is true. It's the classic cliche of you can't judge books by its cover. And I think me and you, who are actually commentating on that fight, might have fallen for the you can't judge books by its cover. I think we both were expecting one result, especially when you have a fighter not just that looks like that, but is out of a pro team. And it also looks like it's chiseled from granite. I was a bit confused. So I was expecting it to go one way, but he comes out with those overhand rights. And not only overhand rights, but overhand rights in spats, right? So the spats are like leggings. So not only was he not the scariest looking man, but he's a particularly unscary looking man wearing leggings. And he had a very good reason why he wasn't wearing shorts. He didn't bring any shorts. That was the level of preparation this fighter brought into this fight. Borrowed a groin guard, no shorts, squeezed into a glorified pair of tights, and then knocks the guy out. What a fight, Steve.
Exactly, what a fight. And just to look at that from a technical breakdown point, what Magnus was doing was he was trying to feel out. He was thinking that he was way ahead, obviously, in terms of his athleticism. So he leads that jab out, and Conrad comes over the top with what we call the cross counter, and just boom.
So, do you have a favourite fighter from Scotland? And if so, who would that be and why?
To be honest, not really. I'm still waiting on. We've had a lot of success at this gym. We've had 8 or 9 world champions now. 3 fighters in the UFC, fighters at Bellator and stuff like that. But I'm still kind of chasing something above that. I'm still looking for something just to take us up past what we've already achieved. Whether that's a UFC title or something that's going to just push on what we've done so far. I think it'd be easy for us to settle on our achievements to date, whether it's getting guys signed to the UFC or world champions and be happy with that. But for now, it's not. There's guys coming through the system now who look like they can progress on what our senior athletes have already done, like Stevie Ray, Danny Henry or Joanne Calderwood. We have guys that could, at the point in their career, they're far advanced to what they guys were at the same time. So right now I don't really have a favourite in terms of any of the guys I'm working with. But there's going to be guys coming through our system just now who, if they live up to the expectations and keep on the path they're on, they're going to achieve a lot more than what we've already achieved so far. Whether it's through a governing body or not, it would be nice if just the people who were putting on events actually done them right, like never cut any corners, brought in the proper officials, treated the fighters properly, and just made sure everything was as close to the regulations implemented by the bigger shows, like just to keep everything kind of uniform. I think some of the systems in place in some other countries, maybe like the Swedish model or the Irish model, is probably a wee bit more advanced than what we have in the UK at this point in time. It keeps everything better regulated, a little bit more above board, and it tends to prepare the athletes better for the future. It is a bit like the Wild West in some of these shows in the UK just now.
So this week I want to find out who your favourite fighters are from Scotland and why. Do get in touch using hashtags MayhemBabes or hashtag MayhemBattleBabes.
Like I said, Mark is high up in IMMAF. He came to us and kind of charged me with the task of setting this up just so that it can be regulated, because we went through a spell where some of our athletes from the gym were beating IMMAF champions in shows. Callum Urie beat an Icelandic kid and a Welsh kid who had medalled at the Europeans, silver and gold medalists at the Europeans. but Scotland weren't sending representatives to these competitions, and I think it became more and more apparent when you seen the kind of success of guys like Mokayev and stuff like that coming out the amateur ranks straight into higher paid contracts with Brave, that it's definitely the path forward. I think for amateurs, they can get experience. Everyone's regulated well. They've got anti-doping and everything at amateur level, which is you don't really see a lot. And the standard of the guys coming through the system's far superior to guys just taking fights on local shows.
Thanks for joining us for today's show here at Higher Level MMA.
Well, it's been another great show here at Battle Arena TV. We've shown you all the best bits, the knockdowns, the knockouts, the submissions, and we've got some really nice looking ladies to cap it all off. And it's really, really great to have the Mayhem girls with us. And we want to really personally thank them as well as you back at home. But we're going to be bringing you a lot more action in July, that's for sure. And we're going to be coming forward. And we're going to be coming back, just like Corey Beldam did earlier in the show. We're always coming back. We can take a shot and we'll come back, even if it's COVID-19 and a global pandemic. And I know that Chris Benson's with me on that one, aren't you, mate?
Oh, definitely. I can't wait to get back and to be making our little Sky TV show here at the event live. It's going to be such an experience that I'm really looking forward to and doing with you, Steve. I can't wait to be back in an arena with the crowd, with the fighters, doing this live. It's going to be so exciting.
Exactly. And that's the thing that we really missed is the crowd element and the fan element. And you folks at home, you've really made the difference. And you've made MMA continue to develop and tick over. And what we're going to bring to you is more action, more fights, and more MMA Battle Arena. Just battles, I suppose. That's what we do. And that's what it is. So thank you very much. It's goodbye from me, Steve Brinkman.
And goodbye from me, Chris Benson, and all the crew here at Battle Arena TV.